Then we come to the section social welfare payments benefits. Quite common during the pandemic. Nearly many of us received some support from social welfare. So if your the payment you received is taxable, you have to enter the amount here. So in this scenario, Kate received job seekers benefit as a self-employed. This is a taxable income, so you have to enter the amount here. So if you, for instance, received COVID-19 unemployment payment, it is a taxable benefit, and you have to enter the total amount here. It wasn't in place last year, but in the following year, for year 2020, you would need to enter the amount here. So other social welfare taxable payments, you can see the examples here. You can also read about them on the revenue website, or in the internet you can find a lot of information about what social welfare payments are taxable, for your information. Let's move on. Again, this section is for directors. So we have company directors present here. So if you or your spouse had directorships in year 2019, you have to state the company tax number. It is not the registration number, tax number, and the percentage of the shareholding in that company. You need to enter it here. So we move on to the next section. That's foreign income. Again, not relevant here. I'm going just to say that if you have an income from another country, you have to disclose it here. Next section is Irish other income, so income from any other source from Ireland. There are many scenarios here. So if your case relates to that, if you had any other income, that would go into this section. Again, exempt income, very specific for certain professions. Charges and deductions, again, very specific scenarios and very rare. I wouldn't go through that now because it would only confuse you very much. This one is important one, personal tax credits. So this will relate to both self-employment and employment tax credits. So in this scenario, Kate is self-employed, but she is due a general personal tax credit of 1,650 because it is due to everyone in Ireland. So if you click calculate, the system will populate it automatically based on her civil status and her conditions that you entered earlier. This one is the employee so-called PAYE tax credit. So if you were in employment during year 2019, you would tick this one. Kate wasn't, so this is not ticked, but she is due so-called earned income tax credit. This is a self-employed tax credit, so she needs to tick this one. Okay. Next, you have a list of any other available tax credits. So if you go through it, you may find a case particularly relevant to you, but they are quite specific, not very common. Let's see what other tax credits are here. Tuition fees. If you paid third level tuition fees for a student, for your child, for instance, you could get some tax relief. So you would enter the amounts here. Medical insurance relief, it's quite common. Kate doesn't have any private medical insurance, but I will show it to you on the other example because it will be for the other person. And next, what do we have? Donations, nursing home expenses, other health expenses. This is where these two are confused. This one relates to medical insurance. This doesn't relate to the fees paid for consultants or GPs. This is for medical insurance. So for instance, you have Aviva or whatever, VHI or Leia health insurance, and you or your employer pay annual premiums. So these premiums will go in here. This is not medical expenses. And this section will relate to medical expenses. So if you paid for your dental work, if you paid for your GP, if you paid for your consultant, if you paid for prescription drugs, the total amount will go here. So you have to sum up all these expenses, input them in here. And if you have any insurance policy and they refunded the amounts to you, the refund will go in here. Kate didn't have any, so she didn't get any refund, so she will be due tax relief on the full 1,000. Okay.